Imagine the middle of the ocean. No land in sight, no shoreline to rest the eyes, only an unbroken horizon where sky and sea merge into the same deep blue. Days blur, engines hum like a heartbeat beneath steel, and the ocean stretches in every direction like time itself. Life on deployment feels distant from the world, and death feels even further. Because out here, when a sailor dies, there are no roads home, no cemeteries close by, no waiting families with folded hands and soft voices. There is only the crew, the ship, the sea. And in those conditions, the U.S. Navy performs one of its most solemn, carefully preserved, and deeply human traditions: a burial at sea. It is not routine, not standard, not something done lightly. It is performed when distance makes return impossible, or when sailors, long before death, request that their final moments belong to the same ocean that shaped their lives. Many do, because for a sailor, the sea is more than water. It's duty, it's home, it's memory, it's identity. The tradition is older than the United States itself, carried forward from centuries of naval practice. But in modern times, it is regulated, documented, and executed with absolute precision. No decision is casual. No moment is rushed. It begins with the Navy Casualty Office, a department dedicated entirely to honor, procedure, and dignity. They notify command, prepare documents, record every movement, and authorize the process. Even grief must follow structure, not because emotion is ignored, but because respect demands order. When a sailor dies aboard a ship at sea, the body is moved immediately to a specially secured refrigeration compartment, the ship's morgue, or a temporary cold unit designed to preserve dignity until ceremony. Medical officers confirm identity, log details, ensure proper handling. The burial team washes the body by hand, no shortcuts, no indifference. Even though the ocean is vast, this moment is intimate. They clean the sailor's face, comb their hair, wipe away sweat, salt, oil, not because the dead can feel it, but because honor requires care. They dress the body in full Navy dress blues, gloves white as bone, medals polished and placed exactly where they belonged when the sailor breathed. The last uniform worn becomes the final chapter of service. Meanwhile, the ship prepares like a cathedral forming from steel. The helmsman adjusts heading to cut waves at the right angle. Engines slow until the ship glides gently rather than drives forward with force. Flight crews lock down aircraft, weapons personnel, safety's armaments. Engineering reduces mechanical rhythm to soften vibration underfoot. Even the air feels different, quieter, heavier, like the ship itself understands. Deck crews sweep the chosen area, usually the fantail, the ship's aft edge closest to open water, and mark positions exactly where every sailor will stand. The ceremony is always arranged, never improvised. It doesn't matter if the sea is calm or restless. Tradition stands firm. Sailors from all ranks, all ages, form in two long lines. Junior enlisted beside chiefs, officers beside deckhands. No hierarchy, no division, only unity. They stand motionless, backs straight, hats low, hands folded behind. Some knew the deceased personally, laughed beside them, shared coffee on night watch. Others never spoke a word to them. But here they stand equal, because in death, every sailor returns to the same ocean that carried them through life. Then comes the moment everything becomes still. Not silence as absence, but silence as presence. A silence that feels like prayer. Wind brushes uniforms, boots grip steel, gulls circle overhead if land is distant. Or if it's thousands of miles out, only waves serve as witness. And then, cutting through that stillness like a needle through cloth, the bosun's pipe. A thin, haunting whistle, 3 tones sharp and bright like a blade. That sound has signaled naval respect for centuries. It carried across wooden decks during the age of sails, across battleships at Midway, across destroyers in the Cold War, and still rings today, unchanged. After the whistle, the ship's heavy brass bell rings 3 times. Each strike vibrates through air, through metal, through bone. Sailors don't flinch. They absorb the sound like memory settling inside them. The chaplain speaks, voice calm as tide, not emotional but steady, because this is not performance, it is duty. They read the sailor's full name, rank, years of service. They do not list achievements, tell stories, or stretch biography, because the ocean will receive the person, not the legend. A short scripture or secular benediction follows, depending on the sailor's beliefs. Words like, "We commit this body to the deep in hope of eternal rest." The phrase has been spoken in wars, in storms, in peacetime, whispered on decks that would tomorrow face torpedoes, bombers, fire. Sometimes the chaplain's voice trembles quietly, not from fear, but from reverence. Then the honor guard steps forward, 6 sailors chosen for posture, discipline, and steadiness. They lift the flag-shrouded body in perfect harmony. No jolts, no imbalance, no sound but footsteps. Their uniforms crisp, their gloves immaculate, the American flag draped smooth, stars bright, stripes flowing like a story told in silence. The sea below rolls, eternal and indifferent, yet sacred in this moment. At the rail, before the final committal, the flag is lifted away. That act alone feels like lightning in the heart, because once the flag leaves, goodbye becomes real. The honor guard folds it with ritual precision, 13 folds sharp as honor, exact as duty. Not one fold uneven, not one corner exposed. The folded triangle is placed aside to later return to family. It becomes their only physical memory, a symbol of service lived on waves. The captain, who until now stands apart, gives a single nod, no speech. A nod is enough. The team tilts the shroud forward, arms steady, motion slow, and gravity does what no hand can stop. The body descends, slips away from the ship, and enters the ocean soundlessly. There is no splash, only disappearance. Depth takes the sailor like the sea takes secrets. Quietly, completely. Some sailors watching have seen combat, fire, chaos. But this silence hits deeper. Because war is noise, but farewell is quiet. The formation does not break. Not yet. They stand many minutes, staring at the water now closing over what once breathed beside them. Some hands tremble, some jaws clench. A few blink tears away unseen, and still no one speaks. Eventually the final whistle sounds again. One note that both ends and honors the moment. Then the captain gives 2 simple words: carry on. Engines rise, metal vibrates, radar hum resumes, helicopters may launch again. Flight deck roars back to life. The warship returns to mission, because duty continues even when hearts feel heavy. But no one forgets. The ocean keeps the body. The ship keeps the memory. Every sailor present carries both. There is no grave out there, no carved stone, no flowers freshened by rain. But there is something greater. The ocean becomes burial ground and monument. A sailor returns to the element they served upon, fought upon, lived upon. No storm will erase that. No time will diminish it. Long after the hull rusts and crew retire, that burial exists in the minds of those who stood witness. Because the ceremony itself is the monument. The ocean is the headstone. The horizon is the name carved across eternity. And the folded flag delivered to the family, carefully, respectfully, with ceremony and uniform, becomes the one solid relic of a life served under stars and stripes. For centuries, navies across the world buried their dead at sea, from wooden ships of sail to steel carriers of modern power. The U.S. Navy preserved the ritual not to mimic tradition, but to ensure that even far from home, far from loved ones, far from land, no sailor leaves this world without honor. When that final whistle blows, when formation ends, when boots return to duty, something in the hearts of the crew shifts. They move forward, not forgetting, but carrying memory like weight they choose to bear. Because the message buried at sea is simple, powerful, eternal. You mattered. We remember. The ocean keeps you, and we carry on. So if you watch this far, take a moment, a brief one, to honor those laid beneath the waves. Drop a blue heart in the comments, a symbol as small and endless as the ocean itself. Tell us, does this tradition move you? Does it feel strange, beautiful, necessary? For sailors, it is perfect. The sea was home, and in death, home receives its own. Thank you for staying with this story. If it gave you understanding, if it gave you respect for the lives spent in uniform, subscribe and stay with us for more histories the world rarely sees. Join the fleet if you want to stand closer with us. Loyalty badges, priority response, early content, all to help preserve naval memory. But for now, fair winds, gentle seas, and to those beneath the surface, we remember always.